What is the composition of a black show? In and of itself, that ass so many questions, infinitely bending and eventually breaking rules that define the status quo. Taking looks, drilling down in books, how far does it go? Turn it up and listen while we examine the facts though. Strapped with a heavyweight that make the screens crack, bro. Misunderstanding that last line is exactly why this show should be your pastime. Prime time exacto. Open up your mind, time. Team Black got a mean track record of being nice when tracking records on a media device, second to none. The docket is a bottle rocket on course to explode with reasonable mind force plus fun. We just begun discussions over what should be done. It's your choice, it's your voice. Say it loud and don't fall back, yo. This is your time to define. It's a black show.
What's going on, folks? We are back. This is a black show, and I am your host, Elon James White. We've got a lot of show tonight. I mean, like, all of the show. All of the show? So let's go. Have you ever fallen into the social media rabbit hole where you read a tweet, then you Google that tweet, and then you read an article related to that tweet? Now you gotta look up the Wikipedia page. Next thing you know, you've wasted 3 hours of your day, but you are now an expert on the 14th episode of season 5 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know you do this. Don't act like I'm the only one. I made the mistake of rolling through the rabbit hole recently when I saw a tweet mention the Media Research Center. These are the lovely folks who run Newsbusters, that awesome blog that tries to combat liberal bias of media. Did you know that comedy in America has a liberal bias? Well, if you don't know, you probably didn't get the fundraiser email explaining all of late night TV comedy is uber liberal. To quote them, is it any wonder that the youth of America are turning into leftist zombies? I'm sorry, leftist zombies? That's what watching late night TV does to you? Because all of the American youth are watching late night TV? But here's the awesome part. The Media Research Center wants to show you good conservative comedy. For example, the web series called News Busted. This is the antidote to that leftist liberal garbage.
I'm Jody Miller. Let's get started. America celebrated Mother's Day last Sunday by thanking their mothers for giving them life. And liberals thanked their mother, the government, for giving them other people's money.
I'm sorry, what?
A number of once popular network TV shows such as Suburgatory and Community were canceled last week. However, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, and CBS have all renewed the series Ignoring Benghazi for another season. Dutch scientists are developing an ATM that shoots hot acid at thieves. Coincidentally, shooting hot acid at users was also a glitch found in the early versions of the Obamacare website. Rumors have spread that Oprah Winfrey might buy the LA Clippers. But like Donald Sterling, Oprah has also made controversial and offensive statements in her past, like when she endorsed Barack Obama for president.
If that's conservative comedy, then I think it's clear why comedy shows lean left. You guys ain't funny. So here's the thing. Conservatives don't understand that it's not funny to mock the unfortunate, people who are victims. It's not funny to push tired cliches. Humor is often about the element of surprise, and the only thing that surprises me is that you guys think this is funny.
The scheduled boxing match between George Zimmerman and rapper DMX has been canceled. The exact reasons for the cancellation are unclear, but it didn't help that liberals began describing DMX as an unarmed teenager.
Yeah, comedy doesn't have a liberal bias. Life has a liberal bias. I used to tell folks all the time, I'm not liberal, I'm anti-evil. My political and comedy philosophy is, hey, let's not be a dick to people. I guess that does actually make me liberal in most of your eyes. But let's keep this train moving. Why don't we do a little bit of politicking?
Ramaa Mosley, aka Mary Strawberry, made the news claiming that she created the Bring Back Our Girls hashtag in support of saving the nearly 300 Nigerian girls kidnapped by the Boko Haram. Mosley, a documentary maker, said she created the social media campaign even though it originated from a Nigerian attorney named Ibrahim Musa Abdullahi.
So this woman who goes by Mary Strawberry on Twitter stepped forward to falsely take credit for starting the Bring Back Our Girls hashtag that's helped galvanize attention for the hundreds of girls kidnapped from their school in Nigeria.
So this is the woman who went on ABC and claims that she created the Bring Back Our Girls hashtag. She looked far and wide and couldn't see anybody using this when obviously there were people using this before her.
Okay, this lady has 300 followers. Are there no fact checkers at these news organizations that are parading her around?
Networks ran with the story without fact checking, and suddenly hers was the face of the movement.
Did you seriously attempt to take credit for bringing the Bring Back Our Girls movement to America?
It makes sense because we all know that white woman tears is the only currency that the media measures tragedy in.
Turns out she had a movie to promote and an organization to fundraise for, and all sorts of reasons why she wants attention.
She not only lied about creating the hashtag, she then used this opportunity to raise money for her own documentary, which supposedly is going to be on CNN or something sometime soon.
Oh, and also some girls were kidnapped, but whatever.
I remember when I turned on CNN and heard Ramaa Mosley on there talking about the Bring Back Our Girls hashtag, and I was like, Harpo, who this white woman?
When I first heard about Ramaa Mosley hijacking the Bring Back Our Girls hashtag, I thought, how you gonna solve a kidnapping with a kidnapping of a hashtag?
Ramaa Mosley attempted to take credit for the Bring Back the Girls hashtag, and for that I don't blame her. America pays scumbags probably more than any other country on the planet. It's a cottage industry.
You can't do that, Miss White Lady.
She's raising money like she's personally gonna go to Nigeria in a Range Rover and collect the girls herself.
Is there such thing as fact check your privilege? Can we start that hashtag?
Mary Strawberry, sit your ass down somewhere.
Now, my favorite part is the elaborate lie she spins about listening to the radio and translating what the crowd was chanting in the background of her magical radio station Hot 97 Nigeria. Like, what is she even talking about?
When I heard about Ramaa Mosley, aka Mary Strawberry, wanting to fly down to Nigeria to see what she could do to help, I just kept thinking to myself, does she think she's Liam Neeson in like Taken 3, Electric Mary Strawberry?
Some random Christopher Columbus. I looked far and wide.
Did you seriously try to erase, the passion behind Nigerian mothers who are missing their daughters who still have not been returned? Did you seriously pitch yourself to national news networks so that you could prop yourself up as the savior of Nigerian women that you have never met? I have a problem with you, Mary Strawberry.
Christopher Columbus looking ass.
You lying liar, stop it.
Until today, you may never have heard of East St. Louis, Illinois. But to know this city is to know the devastating impacts of persistent generational poverty. In 2013, just 1% of the population worked a full-time job year-round. 4 out of 5 households are welfare dependent. Violent crime and illicit drug use are a way of life for far too many here. To know East St. Louis is to know the near constant ring of police sirens, the screech of first responders arriving on a crime scene. Spanning just 14 square miles, according to the FBI, East St. Louis is the most dangerous city in America.
What's going on, folks? We are back. This is Elon James White, and I am joined today by MSNBC contributor and founder of the Goldie Taylor Project, Goldie Taylor. Ma'am, thank you so much for being on the show today.
I am so glad to be here.
This is the first time I've been threatening to try to get Goldie on the show for a minute now, but finally we got a chance to do this because she has a project coming up. But I want to kind of get into like why she even has this project, because I've been watching like the conversations that you've been having on Twitter, on social media, around what your thoughts are. Like you went back to your hometown, and it's been interesting to watch, like, as a media figure, it's almost like a shift in your mentality about subjects, about how to deal with subjects, how to actually, I guess, even tackle these problems. And it's almost put you at odds, it looks like, with a lot of the other folks in the media space that you were previously like just dealing with. And all of a sudden now you were like, no, we need to look at this differently.
I think that's absolutely true. I think that's absolutely the case. I think I stepped to this platform hoping to bring a level of authenticity. And I think you saw me opening up and telling my own story, what the lived lives really look like. I had hoped that would push some of my colleagues across, multiple cable news networks and other platforms, to really get closer to the story, to see what they're missing. I mean, we have great pundits from, all over the landscape. I mean, they are academicians, they are, community organizers, they are,
opinion writers for national newspapers, and they're all really smart people. And some of them even come from, sort of less than desirable circumstances. I want them to bring those circumstances with them every day. I want them to bring their full selves to the job. And so, when I started to talk about East St. Louis, I got a lot of, very positive feedback, gosh, you've come so far. And it was all really focused on me. And I said, for once, I need to take the focus off of me and put it on the 27,000 people who are still living and trying to survive in a place like East St. Louis. And so that's really been my impetus around this. I am not so certain that I'm going to find a national network or a studio who's going to be, really interested in producing this story and sort of putting the resources behind it. But I firmly believe that it's a story that has to be told. And so that means that I've got to go and find like-minded people who've got $5, $10, $25 a piece and try and put this story together that way. And then use whatever the platform it is that I have, use that to push the film.
And so that's the interesting part here. So you're doing this project. You're having this epiphany almost. Like I said, it almost seemed like watching you go through like this metamorphosis online. But like part of it has been like you looked back at your background, where you come from, your town, and then you were talking about how like other folks who like kind of speak around I guess blackness or poverty because they're from that, but they haven't actually understood that area or that space for years. Like they've left, but they still have that card that they can be like, well, I was poor like 45 years ago, and so I get to tell you how the Negro should act. And you seem to not be amused by that concept.
I'm not amused by it. I called it the beautifully disjointed, the beautifully disconnected. And so there are some brilliant writers out there. I mean, they are bringing people to the page and, they're really writing some compelling stuff that really sort of delves deep into race and gender and all of the intersects around that. And, I enjoy reading them. I just want us, as a group to go further. I want us to get out of the newsroom, get out of our small flat in Brooklyn, and get out into cities. I mean, there are 49 other states than New York. So everything that happens in this world doesn't actually happen on the island of Manhattan or in the borough.
That's impossible. I'm from New York. I'm telling you right now, that's the only place that anything occurs. Like even right now, as I'm in Berkeley, I'm actually in New York. This is a hologram.
Well, see, that's a hologram. And so, and that's been really very, it's been challenging to me to both applaud the work of my peers and then to call them to task when I hear, and these are people that you and I both have a deep amount of respect for, but when I hear them talk about, fatherhood, for instance, or the importance or the lack importance thereof, when I hear them talk about gun violence, but, they've never really been, in that situation. When they talk about, illicit drug use, but they don't know anybody. I think we ought to talk about the things that we know about, rather than the things that we certainly, sort of simply study in the halls of academia. And so I do call them to task from time to time. It does make me largely uncomfortable that given the myriad of spaces that we inhabit today, because we inhabited none of this, 10, 20 years ago. When Monica Lewinsky was doing her thing, in 92, 94, none of us had these spaces. We now have brand new platforms, brand new spaces. We have a certain amount of power and energy that I think we ought to be using.
How about Florida? Florida's f***ing up again. Particularly the Florida cops f***ing up again. A classmate recorded a Florida cop kicking a handcuffed teen who had asthma on the school bus. A young man by the name of Kevin Jean Baptiste said he was kicked off of a school bus by the driver for refusing to close the window. He had opened the window because he was having trouble breathing due to the fact that he has asthma after someone on the bus sprayed a bunch of perfume.
Police were called after the teen and a friend got off the bus, and his friend recorded a cell phone video encounter with police officers in which this young man was handcuffed and kicked, apparently, because he dared open a window on a school bus.
I'm sorry, wait, kicked? Why? I mean, there's almost no such circumstance where you kick a child, especially one having an asthma attack. I'm confused.
Guess what color he was?
Obviously, it was a white kid because white people are treated really, really badly in our society. Yeah. And obviously, it was a white kid, right?
Oh, yeah, no. Not even close. Not a young black boy, 13 years old, having trouble breathing. Would open the window because, rather open a window than, I don't know, die on the bus. Yeah. They call
the best part about this, Aaron. The best part about this, Aaron, is that we that there are rules and regulations in school environments. I believe there was certain rules on the school bus when I was a kid. And so, I mean, that's not an abnormality, to have these rules and to then even get in trouble for not following the rules. But to not take into consideration what was being said at that moment, it's I have asthma. I opened the window because there was a smell out here and it was bothering me. And then for the police to come and then treat the child as if he was somehow, I don't know, storming the police, the bus. Was this some sort of Tom Cruise heist movie? Where was a child breaking into the bus and stealing all the kids' stuff and we're breaking out and the cops went and got him?
No, he was just on the school bus going home. Couldn't breathe. And it's in Florida. I mean, it's not like they were in Alaska and it was in the middle of a polar vortex where, you open a window and I don't know, all of a sudden it's like the day after tomorrow, everyone starts freezing.
I mean, but there are rules. Icicles. I mean, we have to acknowledge the rules, right, Aaron? The fact is that if there are rules, fine. Yes, if you're not supposed to open a window because there can be various reasons why you can't open a window.
I understand.
Sometimes you kids throw stuff out the window,
But there is alternative ventilation. It is a metal tube in Florida. I'm just saying, you're sitting in a metal tube on leather seats in Florida. If you can't open the windows, then the back window must be open or the front window must be open. The sunroof must be open.
Maybe
right?
the kid had a meltdown.
Sunroof? Did you say sunroof?
I mean,
in New York City, the buses you push
they
up.
They have sunroofs?
I mean, they don't have sunroofs. That's the whole thing that allows for air.
Right. The bus driver will sometimes pop the top just in case if it's too hot.
Maybe this was the same situation as last week when we were talking about the kid, the student who was kicked out of the library because he asked for more time. And then they called the cops and then he got arrested. Maybe what the kid was listen, I have asthma and I couldn't breathe. And they heard, nah, I will kill everyone in this fucking bus, son. I need air, nigga, air. Maybe that's what they heard. And then that's why they're cops need to come because we can't have kids yelling air, nigga, air, because that's not a reasonable response. Is that?
All right. At what point do we train police officers that having a gun gives you a certain power over people that'll allow you to fucking relax? Excuse me. I don't understand this. I can't imagine being this angry and being this abusive as a police officer. I'm walking around with a gun. I have literally 50 men around me all over the city waiting to descend on any position I request them to. And all of a sudden, I was a little kid in the bus having an asthma attack, about to have an asthma attack, and I get to rough him up.
I'm assuming, but like I said, we're not looking at the consideration that maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what they heard. Or I'm trying to explain even if that happened, I wouldn't think I'm now going to kick a kid out of a bus. That still doesn't seem like a thing I would want to do.
I know what happened. He hit the window with a baseball bat. They're reporting the story as if he opened the window, but he generated a bat and he hit the window because he was these windows are locked. And then,
oh my God, Aaron, was this the first scene out of Chronicle, that movie? And this kid actually had superpowers, and so he didn't even open the window. He actually smashed it with his telepathy, his telekinesis, and then that's why they had to come in there and manhandle and kick him because they couldn't control the child.
It wasn't the cops. It was the superhero, the superhero management group, the private army, and we had to call them the cops. Because we don't want to have this type of secrets coming out. So we'd rather just have this terribly racist story as opposed to an actual story confirming the existence of mutants and superhumans.
And nigga, air! What else we got, ma'am?
Jeez, you can't just end a segment by yelling air, nigga, air.
So about this documentary, The Other Side of Grace, that you're currently fundraising for, which, by the way, folks at home, if you want to donate to Goldie's project, you can do that at TWiB.me/Goldie. That's TWiB.me/Goldie, to help her put together this documentary about East St. Louis. And I mean, it's just amazing that you're taking on this role, like you're jumping in directly to tell the story, and you're not waiting for gatekeepers to jump in and to allow you to do it. You're going to the people, you're fundraising for it. If you could give one reason as to why people should definitely jump on this and they should definitely support what you're doing, what would that reason be?
You know, I think it's because we all really are connected. That when communities like East St. Louis do well, the adjoining communities do well. That, you know, that whole rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing. Well, we have to get in here and raise this tide. And so I think that what we don't understand is that the whole not in my backyard approach, the whole, you know, just keep it away from me and mine approach will never result in that increased quality of life that we're all really looking for. That in that separateness lies our death. And so I'm hoping that people will, one, commit to this project. Give me a cup of coffee a day. If you're going to Starbucks for $4 a day, give me that. You know, if you can do more, let's do that. The more people do, the more of the story we can do. I mean, this has come out of my own pocket. I couldn't wait for gatekeepers to help us tell it. Not sure that yes would have ever come from anybody, you know, on this landscape. And so it's going to be up to individual donors, those $5, $10, $25, $100 donors, to get a project like this done. I hope that from what I've done on this media stage, people can trust me with this story, or feel like they can trust me with this story. You know, I've always said, be careful who you let tell your story. And so I am hoping that people will see this investment not only as an investment in me as an independent voice, but as an investment in a people that we're trying to make some movement happen for. We're trying to draw attention to 14 square miles. But the result of that could be attention in other neighborhoods just like it around the country.
LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling made the mistake of opening his mouth once again, this time to give an interview to CNN's Anderson Cooper to clear the air about his supposed racism.
So Donald Sterling decided to do an interview with Anderson Cooper, and it's a train wreck.
Apparently, Don Sterling won't shut up.
When I saw Donald Sterling's interview on CNN, it made me want him to never stop giving interviews. It was magical.
This was magic.
It was like a what the remoulade drizzled and oh my god, are you kidding me chutney.
He just won't stop talking.
Stop talking.
When I saw Donald Sterling being interviewed by Anderson Cooper, I thought to myself, oh my god, they're handing him the hammer and nails. This is so awesome.
When I saw the Donald Sterling interview or confession or apology or embarrassment, whatever it was with Anderson Cooper, I couldn't help but wonder, where is Donald Sterling's support system? Where is Shelley? Does he not have any family or friends to go to press appearances with him and tell him when to shut the f up?
Where are his PR people, and how is this an apology?
It's like he bought a diamond-encrusted shovel and just proceeded to dig a deeper hole.
When I saw Donald Sterling's interview on Anderson Cooper and that weak-ass non-apology apology, my face started melting like the guy in Indiana Jones. I'm finished. I'm done. I'm finished.
He goes on TV to talk about Magic Johnson having those AIDS.
You talking about some Magic Johnson?
Not the white privilege AIDS over here, but those Negroidian AIDS over there.
Oh, you can pick any basketball player, but not Magic Johnson.
He then continues to make Magic Johnson the focus of this story, like this isn't all about him and what he said.
I mean, to come down on someone like Magic Johnson, who has invested himself in communities across this country.
Nah, son. Nah, you're not gonna be talking about my man Magic. We can go.
God, really, Donald? Just no. Just no. No, but yes. Keep talking forever, please.
If Donald Sterling cannot rightly identify what someone like Magic Johnson means to African American communities, racism is the least of his problems.
Yeah, this Donald Sterling interview, I don't I don't know how to explain this. You know how some people can? Well, I can't. Donald Sterling was so racist, he couldn't actually control himself. He was trying so hard and failing. He was like the racist Bruce Banner trying not to become racist Hulk.
I like to help minorities. I'm not a racist. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's worthy of even discussing.
But Anderson Cooper was just like, show me your real face. Show me the beast within.
What has he done? Can you tell me? Big Magic Johnson, what has he done? But what does he do for the black people? Doesn't do anything. You call up and say, well,
he's opened a lot of businesses in inner city neighborhoods.
The Jewish people have a company, and it's for people who want to borrow money and no interest. They want to give them a fishing pole. We want to help people. If they don't have the money, we'll loan it to you. You don't have interest, one day you'll pay us back. So I'm just telling you, he does nothing. It's all talk.
So are you saying that African Americans don't contribute to African American communities as much as Jewish people?
There's no African American. Never mind. I'm sorry. You know, they all want to play golf with me.
Racist Hulk smash all facts. Facts no matter to racist Hulk. Racist Hulk punch through opportunity to not be racist and be more racist. Hulk smash. A lot of folks are saying, why are news outlets even talking to this dude? Racist dude is racist. But here's the thing about that. This is America, and no one is racist until they're racist. Discriminatory housing practices? We don't know what really happened, you know what I mean? Could be, we don't know. Yelling about how the black president is illegitimate, although the last president actually stole the election? Socialism must be stopped, you know what I mean? We gotta take back our country. Say black people are lazy and steal. Okay, well now you've gone too far. You said black people do a bad thing that some of us actually might think they do, but we know better not to say it out loud. We might say that in private, but we're not gonna say that in like polite company, okay? That's just rude. So yeah, I'm okay with broadcasting Sterling's ignorance all over the TVs. To me, this is the only way some folks will even acknowledge racism exists at all. And there are folks right now who are watching Sterling say all this nonsense, and they're still going, well, actually, no. Fall the fuck back. Listen, racism isn't black and white. Pun alert! Yes, there are actually examples of outrageous racism, but you know what? My issue ain't this Sterling tape nonsense. I'm concerned not about the black and white racism, but the gray racism. The racism that doesn't involve someone saying nigger or hanging a black person from a tree. I'm worried about the gray racism that means a black kid can be murdered because they're scary. I'm worried about the gray racism that says a black woman on a porch means I can shoot her, as opposed to finding out what exactly is the problem and maybe does she need help. Gray racism is the shit that's killing people of color. Constant small microaggressions that's literally shortening our lives. Gray racism is what makes people think that if a black dude's pants are sagging, that means that the cops should totally get to shoot them or arrest them or question them and stop and frisk them. Gray racism is that thing that lets you think that allowing black women to be slandered because they're speaking their truth is cool, and you should totally defend the white women slandering those black women. Gray racism isn't any less insidious than black and white racism. The reason why we aren't as hardcore about it is because all of a sudden, it's not just the Sterlings and the Clive and Bundys that are guilty. It's a lot of y'all watching this show right now. Folks would rather say this type of racism doesn't exist than accept or admit that they actually play a role and benefit from this type of racism. With so many folks yelling about how they want to be allies to the cause and they want to help people of color, maybe the first thing you want to do is look in the mirror. See, I told you this was a lot of show. You didn't believe me, but this is a lot of show. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back here next week, same black time, same black channel. Please make sure to send in your feedback at ablackshow@freespeech.org. That is ablackshow@freespeech.org. And you can always help support this program at donate.twib.me. That is donate.twib.me. Help us be the media that you want to hear and that the media needs to hear. Thank you guys for watching. Have a pleasant evening.